As we find our seats and we gather together, some of you clearly still have salt in your hair. Thank you, Gerrit and Heather, for choosing a day that even the experienced canoe paddlers decided they wanted to swamp in. More bailing was done at Kailua Beach today than on a typical day. And it was truly a blessing to be gathered together down there. When we're out in the water and you look around and you see hundreds of people on the shore and in the water with you, it is a stunning reality in a relatively short span of life, the lives that these two people touch. And so we get now as close family and friends. We get to gather together in this process of really not fully saying goodbye, but as much as we're saying goodbye, to also be gathering in celebration of the life that they have shared amongst us. To start, cousin Kaneohe has a wonderful hula that she's going to dance with us, and a story to tell with it. So Kaneohe.
Everybody. I'm going to be dancing Palehua, and I wanted to dedicate that to Gerrit and to you folks. About a year ago, I was able to go camping up in Palehua, and I brought Gerrit with me. And for those of you who don't know, Palehua is up on the Waianae mountain range, wherever that is behind me. But it has some of the world's most precious and very rare plants up there. So I wanted to take Gerrit up there, and he was so stoked. The lady took us on a walk, and she was pointing out plants and just how happy he was. And this beautiful place, and the song talks about the breeze that you feel in the forest, a lot like here, and it's calling to you, and you always hear it calling back. The mountains unveiled to the heavens, and it's almost like a place like here. And it's one of the first songs I heard right after everything, and when I heard the song, it brought this warmth over me, and I felt like Gerrit was there with me. So I want to dedicate that to you and to Gerrit.
hua e Wahina ni a upu ia u E poina ole Ki kua hiwi kaulana Vei kalani O ka wahi kie loa Ho pale hua e pamai ana ka makani I ka ulu na hele Ulu puni mako I ke ala Kane piwa O hea vale ana oe O pale hua
Let us pray. God, be present with us at this time as the cool breezes blow on us in this special place. May you bring refreshment to us in this time in which we struggle to find the hope at times in the midst of knowing that there is much to celebrate. We ask that just as the sun bears down upon us with the warmth, that you fill our hearts with the goodness of the love that has been shared with Gerrit and Heather. That as the ground radiates up to us, this which you have created, may we be filled with the gift of that creation and the gift of in which the two of them love to be a part of it and to share it with one another, and to share it with family, share it with friends. Be present with us in this moment. Allow us at this time to be touched by your love, to feel your breath upon us, to know without a doubt that these two wonderful people are within your embrace at this very time. In your name we pray. Amen. So when we were gathered at the beach, it really wasn't a time with so many people to be able to share a whole lot of stories with one another. But we've had a little bit smaller group now, and there's an opportunity now for us to tell a little bit more of the stories of these two people. And so we wanted a chance to share that. Some of you have written down some notes, and in a moment I'm going to ask you if you're willing to share some of that. But first, Trina and Uncle, come and share with us.
So at one point or another, we've all been so fortunate to share in the long lineage of love and energy that has been invested in Maka'alamihi. Gerrit loved this property so much. If he wasn't working and planting here, he was collecting and reading and planning and talking about the work. And if he wasn't sharing his enthusiasm about it, he was thinking and dreaming about it. And when he was away from the property, he was constantly yearning to connect with it again. And so we'd like to honor that energy and offer prayers for its perpetuation as a cherished place of peace and abundance.
The Hawaiian culture has a proverb that basically translates to the land is a chief, the people are merely servants. And I know that this tragedy has, in order to heal past this tragedy, it's good to know that the legacy that is left behind will be the stewardship and sustainability of this property. And I've gotten a ho'okupu, a gift for this land, and it's about the largest coconuts I've ever seen. And it comes from a Samoan coconut, but it's a tree that grows in Kahaluu, and I would like to see this tree be planted and continue on the legacy that would be encompassed in that idea, and that the coconut is the tree of life. It provides shelter, it provides water, it provides food, and many other uses. So, anyways, I'd like to gift that coconut. There's one that's sprouting to this land, and then also I need to open this coconut.
I'd also like to say that Gerrit's spirit and his energy is in everything living and growing at Maka'alamihi. He's everywhere here, and we honor that. And we'd like to give an offering of tea to Lay, Lisa, Abby, and Maddie to place at the threshold of Peace Cottage, woven with love. We hope that its energy is healing and bestows blessings, mind, body, and spirit, as you build a life of strength and resiliency together.
think this is going to be a time for a lot of memories. I go ahead and break the program now. Just as Trina and Leland were talking, it reminded me while they were off in college at Oregon State studying, Gerrit kept on asking us what's happening with the property, how are my plants, are you taking care of my plants, are you watering my plants? So I periodically send him photos, and according to Trina, he would get in about as close as he could to the computer, expand the screen up and see if the plants that he had planted were still alive. The other thing that I was remembering as they were talking is most of the apple banana trees that you see on the property were planted by Gerrit. I told him not to because I said, you know, we have ring spot here, they're just going to die. He didn't listen to me, fortunately, because they flourished. They've been giving us hundreds of bunches of bananas, and so while Trina and Gerrit were off in college, periodically would send them care packages with dried bananas. Apparently Trina would grab those and hide, actually Gerrit had to hide them so Trina didn't eat them all in one sitting, but that was apparently her study food. So that memory just touched me, and we will always be sending you love and bananas.
Well, I didn't say anything at the beach, which was highly unusual, so I'm going to make it up right now. First of all, thank you so much for joining us today. Gerrit loved nothing more than bringing people together right here at Peace Cottage and in Peace Garden, and sharing his knowledge and his passion for plants, for food, really for nature and the environment. And I woke up a couple weeks ago with the thought that Gerrit did not just simply observe from afar. He participated in the environment, in nature, and really he was all about from the sea to the mountains and everything in between. And I think Trina's words are apt. There is no square inch on this property that has not been touched by Gerrit. We hope that his legacy and his ideas about how to make this into a gathering place, we hope that we can carry that on. So I talked to my boss. I told him I'd be working every Friday up here instead of in his office. He said, whatever you need, Stace. We are now calling this Peace Garden, and with Carl and myself and the many others of you that have volunteered your time and have said, just call me, I'd like to come up, we're going to do something to realize and actualize what Gerrit's thoughts and plans were for the property, because he loved being a part of this family, as I have. He was so proud to be here on the property in the role of steward of not only the property, but all the memories that have come from decades, years before. He had a very specific vision. We're not quite sure what that was, although as we've gone through the past couple of weeks, little snippets of conversations have come to us, and we're remembering some of the ideas and thoughts we had. So to the best of our ability, we're going to see to it that the plants stay alive, the trees stay alive, we will harvest the fruit and consume it, because that's what he loved. Nothing more than growing a plant, eating the fruit or the vegetable, and being here with all of you. He would have loved this. Today was the day that was supposed to be the 13th annual luau. Kind of convenient because you all had it reserved, I guess. He loved the luau because, again, it was a way to gather the family together rather than at funerals, which is why we started it. We'll be back in the saddle next year, second Saturday in August.
August 11th.
August 11th. So save the date. That'll save me an email. But again, I hope that you will remember, as I said to many of you over the last couple of weeks, Gerrit and Heather were so happy here. Their lives were short. And that's a very sad thing for all of us. But how cool is it that in 28 short years, they were owning their own businesses. They had plans for the future, very specific plans. They had a community of friends and family that I can't even begin to tell you have come out of the woodwork. They've left a legacy that most of us never will. So I want you to remember on this very sad day how happy they were and how much love they grew. They were all about growing love. So love each other like they loved each other. Be at peace. They were at peace with their lives. And again, thank you so much for joining us. This means the world to Carl and Leigh and I and to the Rileys who've come from Virginia. So thank you very much.
Hey y'all. We don't talk like that in Virginia, but I'm going to share a couple memories for my daughter's sake, who refers to me as the rambling man. I'll give a few words. Heather, when she was born, was, as any parent's firstborn, she was the apple of our eye. She was my shadow. We did everything together. She was my sports buddy. She slept on me every Sunday afternoon while I watched the Redskins game, and Karen would usually be there. But it's just, and everything I did, she wanted to do, and that's what she lived for. She wanted to be part of everybody's life. She didn't want to just do her thing. And I'll say, that was many years ago, and a lot transpired. When she left to come to Hawaii 7 years ago, I won't speak for my wife, but both of us were like, what the heck are you doing? She gave up a great job in DC. Well, a great job I thought she had in DC. Left that behind to come here to start a new life, and we didn't know what that life was going to be. We spent the last 4 days just amazed at what she's done here. And not what she's done, but everybody comes up and says, thank you for creating Heather and letting her be part of our life, or my life. And I've always been proud of Heather, and I always knew, as she would tell me, Dad, she didn't say I'm going to make you proud again, but when she left here, I said, Dad, I'll use my degree again. And now, not only has she brought us to a new family, because we're now family, we had the beauty of having Heather and Gerrit home in June, and I told him, say, Gerrit, you're in. Don't come out. Don't make a special trip to come back and ask me permission. You're in, and I have one request, and all of you that know Heather well will know this. I said, please, 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 let us be part of the wedding, because Heather would call us on a Monday. Hey y'all, guess what we did this weekend? And I met with some of Heather's business folks. I had a good talk with Kathy, and to hear what Heather has done professionally, enough said. She's just ridiculously, we're so proud of her. She's turned into the young adult that we've worked our whole life to hope. We've got Taylor to help us get through it, and this is part of our world now. And I can't promise we're going to be here next August 11th, but daggone it, we'll be talking a lot about it. So, thank you all for being part of her life and making her part of your family, because we couldn't do that from Virginia. And so this week has taken a lot of the pain away from us, and seeing all that she did and all the lives she touched. And we're huggers now. Carl and Gerrit are the best huggers in the world. Ever. And first thing I saw Gerrit, he came in and, hey, and wrapped his arms around me, and I'm hey. And from then on, and it's just amazing. But enjoy the celebration of what they left here. Remember their dash, and keep them in your heart, not this week or next week, but the rest of your lives. And that will help us all kind of power through this, because it ain't gonna be easy. Thank you.
So it is, thank you, Dave, Stacey, Carl, Leland. It's my understanding that people have pieces of paper right? That you've written down a word or thought, a story, a memory. Is that true? Because I didn't see it. At least my wife had. And we want to take a moment for folks to share, if they wish, what they've written. And if you don't want to stand up and share what you've written, there is going to be a jar as you leave to put that in so that the families have it. But I want to encourage folks that if you have something written, and if I can call on my wife to start it off, because I saw her waving it, and then if there's anyone else that would like to, that would be absolutely lovely. And I want to tell you that, when they told me, they said, there's this gong that we found, and you know, I've seen little gongs like this, and then this came out, and as you said, it kept ringing and kept ringing. My children know my favorite movie in the world is It's a Wonderful Life. And one of the things that I love in A Wonderful Life is that every time you hear a bell ring, it means that an angel's growing its wings, right? So when you speak and tell a story, we're going to ring the bell just a little bit, just to remind them that we're here, you're there, we're listening. And the other cool thing, you know, there's a dragonfly on here. And there's this unbelievable story about dragonflies and how they don't grow up as dragonflies. They grow up under the water, and then ultimately, when they sprout their wings, they begin to fly. And there's this story, Wailana the dragonfly, that talks about, you know, they make a pact between them, the little water nymphs, that when you grow your wings, come back and tell us what it's like. And the fact of the matter is, they can't get through the water, but they're always skimming the water to tell us what it's like in the beyond. So they are skimming with us right now. So, Kirsten, would you? Just where you are, loud and proud.
I wasn't planning on it, but I will share.
Sorry.
There's so many memories, but my favorites are of the kids when they all played together on this property. Thank you, Auntie Betty, for always making it available. And Meolani would invite us over, and kids would come out, and ours were the littlest with Analia, and they just were so jubilant, and they had so much fun here, and they could run around anywhere and be safe, and we didn't have to worry, and we could get caught up sitting on Meolani's couch and let the kids run around. But the baby luau's, and I was remembering particularly at Naia's baby luau at Pu'upueo up at Auntie Mary and Bonnie Judd's. And somebody brought the big plastic sheet that they used to bring around. Who was that? Was that you, Chip?
No.
I can't remember who always brought that.
But I enjoyed it.
And they'd soap it up. And Kai'ulani, everybody was playing on it. And our cousins, David's brothers, kids were here from the mainland. Everyone was having a ball. But in particular, Kai'ulani and Gerrit got out the dish soap. Remember that green bottle of dish soap?
Yeah, we were just...
The dawn.
And they didn't wait for anyone to soap the plastic. They soaped themselves. And I was exhausted, but so joyful watching those two as they passed everybody else who was doing it. But they do 2 or 3 times per other kid. And the two of them would just go, whoo! And fly and land on their chests with total abandon. And it was just such a wonderful memory, and I have a video of it somewhere, so I'm going to put it online when I find it. But those kinds of memories. And then the last special memory was when Trina and Gerrit came out to Camp Mokuleia to help us out, because we were struggling with the farm, and Gerrit was advising us. We met in Manoa, and he gave ideas, but Gerrit and Trina gave of their time, and David and I needed a break so badly, and they came and they stayed at our house and they took care of the goats and they gave us that wonderful gift of a break, and we knew that the camp and the farm were well cared for. And Melinda's done that so much too, so appreciate it. But it's a memory of Gerrit, but it's also a memory of how this family pulls together and supports each other. And as a collateral, it is really so wonderful Karen and David and Taylor, you're going to know that you are family. And whenever you need anything, this family is here for you because we really pull together and support each other. So, mahalo for giving us the gift of Gerrit's support.
Thank you, Kirsten. Any other things that people, maybe just a word or whatever that people have written?
I'll piggyback on that. So you never know how important something is until it's gone, but one of the most important things is a sister's love. And I just wanted to thank you guys so much, because I might have lost one, but I gained one. And so we all have to be here for each other, including little Jimmy. And I was so looking forward to having a brother. Especially a really tall one. Gerrit was one of the most sensitive tall men I've ever met in my entire life. I made a little joke at him one time, and he was really quiet the rest of the day. So I said, Heather, what's going on with Gerrit? And she said, oh, he's really sensitive. He's upset about what you said. And I was like, oh, that really small joke I made? She was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. His heart was just so big, and I'm just so thankful for you guys, and we all have each other, and he eats flies, I'm sorry. But thank you all, and thank you guys, and I love all of you so much.
Other thoughts? Things folks have written down.
I know I already danced and said one, but I have a great memory of both Heather and Gerrit right after they met. It was last Thanksgiving. I wanted to start doing a Friendsgiving, so to show our thankfulness, something we could do for the earth. And I just put out a blast telling anyone who could come for sunrise to come clean the beach at Sandy's. And it was sunrise at Sandy's, so pretty windy, little nippy, so everyone had like jackets on, little light sprinkles, and Gerrit and Heather showed up and just full skibbies, and they were just the whole way dancing down, picking up stuff, just and Gerrit scatting the whole way down the beach, grabbing trash. And a lot of my co-workers and friends who didn't know Gerrit and Heather, they were just like, who are these people that you brought? I was like, my cousin, that's Heather, and they're the best, and they were just so happy to always give, and I want to continue that, and very thankful for both of them.
Anyone else?
Hear about Heather and Gerrit after our regatta. Came here to their beautiful property, and Gerrit took us on a nature walk, and his mom Stacy said, take my watch, I give you 30 minutes, because he's very passionate about his nature walk. And then after the walk, Heather, she was so cute. She was passing out Gerrit's business cards to us, and I still have that business card on my dresser. And in the evening, we had this big piano. Stacy was playing the bongo, the canoe club was playing music, and Heather joined in and did a beautiful dance with this koi balls on fire. And I just, on behalf of our Kaya Kapoi Canoe Club, our coach Gilbert, and all the paddlers, and the white unit, I just wanted to share that story. Love you guys.
I'm Gerrit's auntie, and I just want to share the last conversation that I had with he, and I also had a chance to meet Heather. They were doing some sort of a sale thing maybe 3 weeks ago over in Kailua, and my daughter Laura goes, let's go meet Heather, and I go, okay. So we went over there, and I got to meet Jimmy, and I got to meet Heather, and had talked for a while with her. And I said, Gerrit, how was Europe? Because they had just come back from England. When was that, April? May. And I go, Gerrit, did you go to Kew Gardens? And I don't know how many of you guys know about the Royal Gardens at huge Royal Botanic Gardens, and this is where Cook and Vancouver and all these old explorers would take their plants and then they would grow them out in 300 acres. And Gerrit says, oh yeah, I spent like 1 day there and I wanted to spend 4 days there. And my parents had to show us the Cotswolds, but that was okay because they paid for the trip, But he really was excited, and I go, oh my God, Gerrit, because my husband and I went there in '99, and I go, did you see the silver sword plant in the Alpine house? And he goes, yes, I did. And he's the only other person who I know who would get so pizzazzed about a Hawaiian native plant all the way in England, what was it, 20 minutes out of London, this wonderful garden. So every time, I know I'm going to go back there again one day, but every time I think about the silver sword, and he mentioned a bunch of other plants that he was really excited about, which I didn't know, because he was so very, very knowledgeable. And I'm going to really miss having conversations about, bizarre, exotic places and plants with him, because he could always add to my knowledge. And I think, that's something I hope we can perpetuate here on the property, just in our everyday conversations, whether you're learning about the tea leaf for the first time, or, you're learning about something really exotic and strange, like there's a couple of big gourds and a pot over there, and I'm going, what are those? And maybe you can tell me later, but I think it's just fascinating. There's always something new. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. Thank you.
Anyone else?
So this is obviously extremely sad. I am really trying to focus on as many positives as possible, knowing that the next morning the wind blows, I can see the trees moving, I can feel him. His guitar has been doing some weird things. I think it misses being played. I'm going to attempt to learn how, but I will never be able to fill his shoes. But he's everywhere. I've moved in now. This is the house we were born and raised in. We've moved in, and everything reminds me of him. This pole right here, which was connected to a tree. Growing up, we had a zip line, and Gerrit and I had so much fun on that thing until I remember the first day that my legs touched, because I was too tall and I couldn't ride it anymore, but he could. But I made up for that when I turned 16 at one of the reunions, and I could ride the ATV and he couldn't. So this property will always remind us of him, and something that I am also finding a lot of comfort in is knowing that Gerrit and Heather were an amazing team. They were going to conquer the world. They were going to have super babies. They were going to show everybody up and help. They were really trying to help the environment, help the people, help the world. See the rainbows everywhere. And so we went to Aloha Home Market on Sunday before they passed in Kailua, and we weren't going to go. But my amazing girlfriend reminded me, and we went, and I'm so happy we did. We got there, and Heather was there, and it's mostly her. She was a architect, amazing decorator, had her own business. She, I think, put most of that market together, if not all of it, and had Gerrit come, and he was handing out business cards. He brought plants from the property, and when we first got there, she was right in front, welcomed us, said, Gerrit's not here yet, but he's on his way. We walked around a little bit, and I think I'm playing with Maddie, and all of a sudden I hear, hey! And I turn around, and Gerrit literally, does his pop-out thing. Such a goofball. I used to be embarrassed by him growing up, but as we've gotten older, he's my little brother. He's so amazing. I know I got that goofball in me too, so I'm gonna let it out a little bit more. But he shows up and immediately has this big smile on his face. He's wearing an Aloha shirt, and he's used to wearing, Hanabata garden kind of clothes. So I told him how handsome he looked, and we kind of let him do his thing for a little bit, and then he came back by us, and we're all talking, and I looked at him, and he was this close to me, and I looked at him, and I was like, you look so happy, and he'd already expressed how happy he was, and this was the best year of his life. The best. Heather's too. They found each other. They were going to conquer the whole world, and everybody in it. They were going to have everybody loving each other. And I told him he looked so happy, and he looked at me, he's like, I am so happy. I go surfing every morning, I play in the yard with my dog, I play with my plants, I started my own business. He was just in such a good, happy place. And I put my arm around him, and it's in the middle of this, event, so I'm trying not to embarrass him. And I, put both arms around him, and I told him how proud of him I was, and how much I loved him, and how happy I was that he was happy. So, of course, I wish none of this happened, but if it was to happen, those are the words I would have wanted to tell him. We were with him through the whole experience. I, got to say goodbye to him, but he's never really gone. He's here. I think of the zip line. I think of chasing him around and with the chickens, climbing in the how tree over there. Dad pushed us around in wheelbarrow rides. Another thing I find really comforting is just knowing that I'm not really a plant person, but I'm going to try to become more of one. I love it. I care about it. I understand anatomical terminology more than the genus and species of a plant, but I can learn it. And all of us, the next generation, we're all starting to step up. Sean is interested in a lot of the same things. Our friend Kaylee, cousin Ben, there's a lot of that coming. And one thing that really helped, and little Sage is back there. Sage was here helping us garden, and I got to push her around on the wheelbarrow the other day. And something about that was very, very meaningful to me. And I love all of you, and I love you guys. I love you, Sage. And I would just love to see all of us, whether we're here all helping or whatever you're doing, plant a tree for him, grow love. To explain to those of you who maybe don't know, this symbol was on Gerrit's business card. It's his business symbol. The business was called Hawaii Ecological Landscape Design. The acronym was HELD. So Heather made this symbol for him, and it's a little seedling being held, and we found it really meaningful. I thought of Grow Love is what they did. I wanted something to try to connect, so if you have pictures or anything, if you'd like to use that, we can all, share with each other. You also I didn't realize it had his initials there. This shirt is also, I'm big in connections and whatnot. I also ramble, so I'm going to stop in a second. I did not get the word gene. Gerrit got that from them. I did not get that. The colors of the shirt, you made these shirts, and the color of the shirt is heather green and heather gray. Heather's middle name was DeGray. And just all of it it's tragic, it's sad, but it's also motivational almost. See everybody come together and just enjoy this special place. So thank you all for coming. I'm gonna stop talking now. We got this gong together after I graduated college. It's very special, especially now.
Incredible gong.
Yes.
I don't know, it may end up having to stay right.
Maybe Maddie would love that.
Anyone else? As Stacy mentioned, this is the day that we're supposed to be gathering together for a different purpose. It's the luau, and I was so excited because I actually had a couple of weeks off, and I'd written them a note and said, there's nothing I enjoy more than doing an emu, and could I be part of the emu crew? And there was a certain excitement and reluctance, because this was also a time where the emu torch was being passed to another generation, to you, right? And we all know that Gerrit already was big into the emu, but this was really the chance for that all to happen. And so this is what we were supposed to be gathering to do. And one of the reasons for the luau was that we got tired of, as a family, gathering together only for memorial services. So it's somewhat ironic. And yet here we are as a family, and all the things that have been shared by each person in terms of that sense of that ohana, that sense of welcome, that sense of being gathered together, and a family that gathers in love on a place that they love. And as I was pondering on that, I thought about these beautiful words from the letter of John. Beloved, let us love one another, because love is from God. For everyone who loves is born of God and knows God. And whoever does not love does not know God, for God is love. For if we love one another, God lives in us, and his love is perfected in us. God is love, and those who abide in love abide in God, and God abides in them, and there is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. Is that not how they lived? It's two young people. They lived in a sense of love. And the Facebook posts, and I know many of us have done this, we've gone on to their sites and we've looked at the Facebook posts that have come from friends from afar. Out in the water is my security guard from Camp Maka'alamihi, who has moved to the mainland, but was somehow friends through the love tribe of the double rainbow. I keep wanting to say the second rainbow, of the double rainbow. I mean, who does that other than people who live in love? And there's my security guard, Jordan, who has flown 4,000 miles to be out in the water with them at that moment, because he was part of that love tribe. I had initially communicated to him the peace tribe, and he said, yeah, that works well too. So Namaste works really well here. It's the Namaste, Aloha, Peace, Love tribe. We can expand the names all the time. But the line that I love most in that scripture is, but perfect love casts out fear. But these are two people that also live fearlessly. You know, and as we just talked about, and you know, they both started their own business this year. Or maybe Heather's had started earlier, but they were moving that forward. And they were living in a fearless way. There's this great line from Frederick Buechner that says, where your greatest source of joy intersects with the needs of the world, go and find yourself at that crossroads. Where your greatest source of joy, every word that we've heard about Gerrit, this is the greatest source of joy right here where we are, and intersects with the needs of the world. These were not people that were self-centered. These are people that were looking at the way in which their passions could touch the world, to find the place, the crossroads where they intersect. That's our call in life. And as Stacy said, at 28 they'd figured it out. So many of us haven't figured that out yet. But at 28 they had figured that out. They were fearless. Fearless. Perfect love casts out fear. And they were fearless in the way in which they lived their life. They loved life, and that meant life was an adventure, and it meant getting up early to see a sunrise. Like Kaneohe, we were so blessed this morning to be there on the beach together to watch that sunrise at Kailua. And it also means getting on a plane and flying into the sunset. You know? I mean, that's fearlessness, and as much as we wish that they had maybe made a different decision that day and we would all not have to be here for this, that is how they lived. They lived in that sense of utter joy and wonder, and to go and live into life. And so we celebrate that. And so it's been an honor for a number of us who are here that we've been on this property now in the last couple of weeks, laying down mulch, pulling up weeds, clearing out the night blooming cereus, and doing all those things, and gathering together as a family. And yesterday when we were here, Stacy and I were standing at this point, and I turned and we looked at this view, and immediately the words of Psalm 121 came to me. I look to the hills from whence cometh my help. And then I was telling that to Carl, and Carl said that was Grandma Dar's, that was Auntie Laura's favorite scripture. So let me read that to you. I lift up my eyes to the hills, from where will my help come? My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. He will not let your foot be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. For the Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. The Lord will keep your going out and your coming in from this time and forevermore. And as I read that, I said, wait a minute. Where is the keeping? Where is the keeping of life and forevermore? And I realized that this is a psalm that is not just about the here and now. This is a psalm about the forever now. This is a psalm that tells us that at this moment and every moment God is present in our lives, whether it is as we are living and breathing or whether it is as we have passed through the birth gates that we call death. That God is present with us in our task in life. Our task in life is to grab a hold of that presence. For when we grab a hold of that presence, we become love. We become light. And those are the two words that come out in almost every single Facebook post. These were two people that were love and light. This is who they were, and this is who they call us to be. And Leia's absolutely right. This is a horrible moment. This is not what we want. And yet, if from this moment there is that opportunity that pulls us together in greater love and greater light, then it's a blessed moment. If it is in this moment that allows us to come together as ohana in a greater way, to have a chance to fulfill that vision that Gerrit had here in this place where they shared their life, to return this place to its magnificence and its beauty and its grandeur and its wonder. And that word is what comes to me over and over, is wonder. People walk onto this property and their minds pop. If that's this moment, so that we are able to grasp what they grasped and carry it forward, then as sad a moment it is also a blessed moment. And so we gather here and we celebrate. We celebrate that in 28 years they found what they loved, and they lived what they loved, and they have touched so many people who will continue to live what they love. That is our gift. That is our opportunity. That's not our challenge. That's our opportunity. That's the possibility. They dreamed the improbable and saw it as possible. Will we now make it possible? So, soon, I'm going to say amen. And after I say amen, Stacy and Carl and Lei would love for you all to spend some time with one another. Tell stories. Share what you wrote on the piece of paper. Go inside, get some food. Wander this property. See the work that has been done, not just in the last 2 weeks, but has been done in the last 100 years of legacy on this land. Embrace the opportunity. And on August 11th, 2018, we are all invited back here. It's not that expensive in August to fly from Virginia. I've looked it up already.
We got you.
And we'll gather again together. And in the 12 months in between, there will be work days and opportunities to get your hands dirty, to allow sweat to fall off your back, and to embrace this land. It is a gift. It is a gift, and I stand as one so grateful for that gift. So what I would love for us to do, if you feel up to it, to stand and grab each other's hands. And when we gather at this luau, one of the things that we all do is we sing together the Hawaiian doxology. And I think it's an appropriate way for us to begin to pull ourselves together, to end this time together. But let us sing together those beautiful words that tell us of God's presence in our life, in this creation, and that love that just emanates up to us. So let us figure out, we probably won't make a circle, we'll somehow connect, but let us sing together. Laura, would you start us? Kahi kamanao, I ho'o kahi pu'u vai, I ho'o kahi ke aloha. E mao ke e au kaina I kapono. As the life of the land is perpetuated in its righteousness, be that righteousness yourself, for we are united one in love, we are united one in spirit, we are united one in family, we are united in aloha. Amen.
Thank you all. off with the harp. And thank you. And we also have our friends from the Canoe Club at Kaneohe who are going to be playing in the garage. And ask you to grab food and enjoy the music and share your memories. Mahalo.
And I no longer can see. Last night I dreamt I was returning, and my heart called out to you, but I feel you won't be like I left you. Que aloha kore o kahalu. And I will greet you as I find you, with the sharing of a brand new song. Last night I dreamt I was returning, and my heart calls out to you. Please accept me as you find me. Ke aloha kore o kahalu.